Oh man,
what are you guys talking about today?
I can't say anything inflammatory.
Cancel culture.
Cancer?
Cancel culture.
Damn, that's like pretty deep. Like, cancer. Oh, damn. Like talking from parents and girls to cancer. Like, that's a big.
I mean, women are kind of like cancer.
You say that when your goal is literally right here, staring at you.
That's why it's a joke.
Okay, so I hit play.
No, it's already doing it. It is, right? There's a red circle in the top right.
No. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I don't trust you.
Bro, this is why we have trust issues. Like, tell us it's recording, it's not recording. Interrupt us the first time. Something is just the. I can't whistle though, so that's.
No, neither can I.
Okay.
So it is what it is.
Anyways, we back.
We are back.
Oh, okay.
Talking our shit. Talking our bullshit. And today, we are talking about cancel culture.
The infamous.
The infamous cancel culture.
Or famous, depending on which side you're on, I guess.
Definitely infamous. For us, it'll be infamous.
It's gonna happen to us.
Yeah. I'm more concerned about it happening to me.
Because.
Oh, of course you are, assholes. You can care about it.
Not that I don't care about you. I'm just saying, like, I think I'm more prone to being canceled. Just because.
You think so?
Yeah, because.
Just wait till I get too comfortable.
Yeah, because I don't know. My sense of humor is really like I say stupid stuff without any like thought. Right, and like one of these days, I'm gonna say something out of pocket just for fun, and it's gonna get like clipped or someone's gonna see it. They're gonna send it to my employer, and they're gonna look at it like, yeah, you can't.
It's okay. We'll edit all that stuff out. Don't worry, we got you. If you ever see any clips, it's because he said the N-word.
Absolutely not. Absolutely the fuck not. No, I'm gonna make some sort of joke. Watch me get. I'm gonna make some Islamophobic joke.
Yeah,
someone's gonna find me. They're like, "You hate Muslims." I'm gonna get canceled.
That's definitely bound to happen. I see people like I see people get canceled for stuff that like they actually support. It's just that you cut a clip of like a joke they're making and you pretend it's serious and crap.
I gotta be more cognizant of the jokes that I make because I make again like I just make out of pocket jokes here and there. But anyways, no. Today what we are gonna talk about is Rihanna, and we're gonna talk about basically why we think cancel culture is really dumb, right? And you have your viewpoints, and I think we have the similar viewpoint of cancel culture is stupid. We just have different reasonings why. I guess we'll talk about that a little bit. So I think I can give a little bit of a background as to what happened with Rihanna or Rihanna.
Yes.
So she had.
It's Rihanna.
It's actually Rihanna.
No, she said it. She said
it's Rihanna. Everyone says it's Rihanna, but she says it's Rihanna.
Yeah, it is Rihanna.
Yeah. But I'm gonna still call her Rihanna. Cause fuck it.
Look, okay. She's Barbadian. I'm half Barbadian. Okay, so this is like.
Okay.
Fuck
sure.
off.
But anyways, so she had a lingerie show basically, and the music behind it was someone. Looking at it, like,
you said lingerie show. She started looking at me. Yeah, that's like.
I'm the one looking at it, not him. Don't worry. Yeah. She's gonna have your head.
Yeah, I know.
You acknowledge other women exist?
Yeah.
What?
How dare you?
Just killed right there. But yeah, no, she had a lingerie show, and I guess the music behind it was basically someone took a hadith and then they remixed it, and
yeah, the song had like a hadith in or something.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like it was a heavy component.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the song's name was Doom.
Okay.
The song's name was Doom.
All right.
Which is like kind of fucked up. And then the hadith itself was it was talking about the signs of Judgment Day. So I think it came full circle. It's just like this is kind of ironic within itself. But no, there was a lot of people
upset. At a lingerie show, so.
Yeah, and I think that just adds the cherry on top is the fact that it's at a lingerie show. It's just like a double fuck you. And a lot of people were upset, right? And like rightfully so.
Yeah.
And I was upset too. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was kind of like, why Rihanna?
I was like, I can't wait for the explanation. So I was like, there's no. I looked at it, I like gasped. I was like, no way. I was like, I can't wait.
You were the chosen one. I was pissed, but it's just like, I don't know. Again, when you look at Twitter, everyone is so quick to like jump on like, yo, I had high expectations, but like now you disappointed me and you are officially done. I will never buy Fenty products again for the rest of my life.
Argued with a lad
gonna make
on
an
Twitter.
effigy of Rihanna.
I argued with a lot on Twitter because he decided to respond to this with saying, "Oh, I don't care about what Chris Brown did to Rihanna anymore." And I was like, "Yo, how does that warrant this?"
What?
I was like, "How is that? How is that response?"
Why?
Okay, like
That just makes no sense.
yeah. I mean, you're getting mad because she like did something like because you put Islam in her thing, but like, how are you representing Islam right now? Like, come on. So that was ridiculous because people,
two wrongs don't make a right, so that's
not at
fucked
all.
up.
And it's how angry people get, and like what they're willing to say. I guarantee you, if she was in front of her, he'd like more ask her questions rather than say like anything inflammatory like that. So
it's easy. It's easy to get upset. I mean, one, I don't blame people for getting upset.
Absolutely.
I think being upset is the right like reaction to it.
100%.
But I don't know. I'm always I'm somewhat concerned about the precedent that it sets. Where it's just like if someone makes, again, this isn't a small mistake. This was something personally affecting me, and I was upset seeing it. Mm-hmm. But the precedent that it sets is like you make one mistake that's not minor, and like you're done for in a sense. Like everyone should boycott you immediately. Your career should be absolutely ruined. The rest of your life should be shattered. And like for me, again, I guess some people might have different views on what exactly cancel culture is.
Right.
But that's how I've always seen it, where people are advocating for this person's entire life and all their future endeavors to be ruined and all their past endeavors to be discredited. Mm-hmm. And to me, that seems wrong.
Yeah, because
I guess it's a little too much.
When I first saw it, my first thought was, I wonder how involved in the process she actually was. Because sometimes you put your name on something and you like pick up the thing and someone's like, "Oh, we're gonna use this music," and you're like, "Okay, sure." Right? Or you listen to it quickly and you might not even have known, right? So I was like, "Okay, let me wait for the explanation before I like come for her head," right? So
before I get my pitchfork and knife.
yeah, and then she ended up apologizing, almost a week later for
no, it was a couple days. It was like 3 days. Yeah, it wasn't long. It wasn't long. Yeah. Relatively quick. I saw stuff too where people are like, she's the one where her name is on it, so obviously she gets she's responsible for it. Yeah. But it's a fashion show, and there's like runs. There's like people. There was ample amount of time for people to have seen this and been like, this is kind of wrong. Yeah, we should probably double check.
Right.
This is kind of fucked up.
This is true.
Right, because like any religion is not an aesthetic that you can use out of its context to just like, I guess, as a piece of decoration or like an accessory.
Did she say that she didn't know what it was?
I can pull up her apology right now.
Let's do it.
Oh,
because if she generally heard it was just like had let's say she's never been here, but never heard like what that would sound like, then maybe she just has no idea. She just thinks it's like cool.
Again, I don't think she was
Arabic
the one
sounding type stuff. Right?
Maybe. I
have no idea.
Let me find it on the Quickety Quacks.
Because I always try to think about how much people might actually know. Because with my world, this stuff is very apparent, obviously. Right. So for me, I would immediately recognize it.
But it's not it's not apparent for everyone. Yeah. Right. Like it's not like again, the country that we live in, Islam is not common. Like the ins and outs of it is not common.
She comes from the Caribbean, not that common. I mean, I'm sure the lifestyle that she lives doesn't always cost. She's not going to beat that many Muslims herself.
So she said...
wait, she was dating an Arab guy for a little bit, wasn't she?
Yeah, but I don't think
that
counts.
He was Muslim too.
So she said, I'd like to thank the Muslim community for pointing out this huge oversight that was unintentionally offensive in our Savage X Fenty show. I love the name. In our Savage X Fenty show. She said, I would more importantly like to apologize for this honest yet careless mistake. We understand that we may have hurt many of our Muslim brothers and sisters, and we are incredibly disheartened, yada, yada, yada. I do not play with this kind of disrespect towards God or any religion, and therefore the use of the song in our project was completely irresponsible. Moving forward, I will make sure it doesn't happen again. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, there's one of those things where you see corporate apologies, like, okay, it's a corporate apology, but
yeah, but
I do generally think that I mean, I'm sure there was someone who noticed and didn't say anything, and that would be where my issue would come from.
Right.
But
is that person in a position of power to or even say anything? But then again, you have to have a system where even any employees can be like, hey, this is kind of wrong. We shouldn't do that.
But that's the thing. Ultimately, I don't know what happened behind the scenes for that to happen.
But does that matter?
If she said something. I don't know. Yeah, it does, because you don't know. Maybe she wasn't that involved. Maybe she was. Mm-hmm. Maybe she'd heard it, knew exactly what it was, and still continued to, and then put out this fake apology, or the apology is real and she actually didn't know or didn't mean to or whatever, right? So there's certain levels, intention does matter, right?
Right.
So I whenever I say this stuff, I can only do what I could do, which is, okay, apologize, I'm not going to do it again. Good. I would say that in this case, cancel culture work. It's not going to happen again. Probably not going to let it happen again. Probably understand their mistake, and
I think for
the
me,
artist. I don't know. I don't even know about the artist.
I want to clarify one thing before we continue. We're not talking about the mistakes that people make being illegal shit, right? Like we're not talking about like you accidentally killing someone and then, oh my god, why is everyone trying to cancel me?
Yeah.
Like you murdering someone or you like sexually assaulting someone.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, people are after me.
These are more like I wouldn't even say nuance, but mistakes that aren't like fatal, I guess.
Or like heavily illegal. I don't know. Like.
Yeah. Because like there's definitely times where it's like absolutely warranted. But then usually the law comes in before cancel culture.
Yeah, like I think it's safe to say we can cancel Harvey Weinstein. I don't think there's people out there defending him like, oh, you seem like a decent, genuine guy.
Seems like a safe one.
Or what the fuck is his name?
Which one?
Comedian.
The fire redhead that like.
No.
Louis C.K.
We're not talking about Louis. No, not Louis C.K. Bill Cosby.
Oh, okay.
Was he a pedophile? What did he do?
What?
Was he a pedophile?
Over the course of like the years that he's been famous,
is that what he was?
He would drug and sleep with women. Yeah.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah. That's like you kind of hit. What did he do again?
So that like stuff like that. That's not cancel culture. That's just you're a fucking shitty, terrible person.
Yeah.
You need to go to jail.
And the law will take care of it.
you need to be arrested and taken off the streets because you are a danger to other people. Like that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about actions and stuff like again like PR stuff where like this, where the use of religion. And for me, like my entire life, and this is just the way my mom has raised me, and like I guess it's a value that she says, but it's when someone, for the most part, regardless of when someone messes up. Or if someone does you dirty or does you wrong, right? It makes you upset in any way, shape, or form where you're just like, I don't want to talk to that person or whatever. If they come at you and apologize to you with sincerity, and then they back up that apology with actions, then you should accept their apology, right? And I've experienced that firsthand where with some of my close friends where we have fought. And I've been like vehemently upset. And I'm like, I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. But then they came and they apologized with such sincerity. And then their actions backed up that apology. Where they really tried to fix it up. Even though like all they really had to do was say sorry. It was hard for them to really follow it up with actual actions. It's not like they did something and then they're not doing it. It's what they said. Right? But then I saw in the future as well, after their apology, their actions where they were a lot more focused on what they said and conscientious about the type of language that they use around me or whatever, right? Like I saw that. And so for me, regardless of how upset I was at the comments that were made or what they said or whatever the argument was about and everything that happened and how upset I was, the fact that they came and they apologized to me with sincerity in their heart. Like you can tell when someone apologizes with sincerity. Yeah. Right? And so to me, again, this is just like a fucking PR statement, but it seemed sincere, right? Like when I read it, I was like, okay, this doesn't seem like some like half-ass apology where they're just like, yeah, we kind of fucked up. We'll try and do better next time. You know, like it seemed more genuine to me, and I feel that stuff like this, where people shouldn't be upset that people are accepting her apology, because I saw that where people are like, oh, Rihanna fucked up and she's gonna apologize and we're all gonna accept it anyway because it's her. And no, it's if someone fucks up, yeah, they fuck up, but are they following it up with an apology and then actions to change to make sure that they don't make the same mistake again in the future?
I think especially in these cases, you have to look at action because there are people who are paid to write these apologies, right? So that's a factor too. So ultimately, you don't know. So all you do is wait, see if they continue to.
But some people aren't good with words, right? Like it's okay to have, like if you're like a mogul, right? You famous, you have a large following.
So you've been famous.
You've been famous,
so
right?
Detached.
People dissect your words to like to the letter, right? And so I think it's important, and I think I don't blame them for having PR writers that are like, okay, this is the message that we want to send out. This is how we want to word it. Release.
Yeah.
It's fucking let go. So I don't blame them for that because all their words and actions get dissected to like extreme levels. And so they can't really afford to like mess up, even though they might have the right intentions. I think it's good for them to have some sort of PR person to be like, this is the message that you want to send and whatever. So I don't take anything away from their apology because of that aspect. But I think an apology is important, and I think the timing of the apology is also very important, because if the apology comes way later down the line, you're just doing damage control at that point. You tried to do something, you got flack, you even tried to ride out that flack to see how much you would really get, and now you're like, oh shit, I gotta apologize. And so for me, timing also really matters.
Like, okay, this applies to, I don't want to go into a conversation about Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion, not for this at least, but when it initially happened, I was like, okay, Tory's taking a long time to apologize. So if he's gonna apologize now, this is before he had said anything. I was like, okay, he better have said that he went through therapy for like anger or something like that and drinking problems, and then is now ready to make an apology. I'm like, okay, well, like at least he changed his actions, but like, I mean, he still shot somebody, so like, or allegedly. So
allegedly,
right. So I mean, the forgiveness is not really going to come as it should, but like that would be the only way. That would be the best possible thing he could have done, rather than the worst possible thing he could have done, which was release an album. But that's a whole other conversation for another day. When it comes to the canceling, do you think, because a lot of the right tend to use this a lot, right-wing people will tend to say that cancel culture is like ridiculous or whatever, right?
Left.
And what I've usually come to see is that cancel culture really doesn't do much unless it's like, something where it's something borderline like illegal. Like Louis C.K. did something that was pretty crazy. What did he do? He, for anyone who doesn't know, he was like at the height of his career at this point, right? Like he had just been on SNL.
See, I'm happy that I was never really a fan. I love stand-up comedy. Like I love stand-up comedy. I never really got into Louis C.K. So right.
But so what he did was, I think there was one where he was on the phone with somebody and he jacked off
while he was on the phone. But a different kind of shot.
I hate you. And then another one where I think he was actually in the room with a girl or whatever, and he like jacked off in front of her.
I think he just whipped out
to
his dick,
completion.
and he's just like, "Hey, don't mind me. I'm just gonna do me." And like that's sexual harassment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and he's back performing now. I mean, he's gone to live, but he's back performing now. I mean, like some places like they came off or whatever, but he's fine. So I don't know about when people talk about cancel culture being ridiculous. Like a lot of these people are still active. Yeah, sure, the career took a hit, but they're not over unless it's something like actually illegal. But.
I mean, the reputation and their stock takes a hit. I think short term, but long term,
I'm sure Louis C.K. is at the point where he could still provide for his family.
Right,
in the profession that he's in.
Yeah,
that
he's also in the right because it's his actions. I don't know. I wish Louis C.K. is a different, because it's not like he got canceled over his comedy, because there's some comedians where people come afterwards and say like Dave Chappelle has had, like when he came back for his Netflix special, there was like articles written about him where they're just like his jokes are out of line and whatever, and like boycott the Netflix special, this and that. But for Louis C.K. it was he's sexually harassed at that point, and it's just like no, fuck you doing some creepy ass shit. Like,
so do you think the people who come after comedians for like small like jokes and stuff like that, are they doing the left an injustice by taking things that aren't problems and making them into problems, or aren't that serious? I mean, like recently Bill Burr just did an SNL, and a lot of comedians are talking about how great it was because he came like on an SNL stage, which is like like very left or whatever, right? He came after these people.
Did he come after Biden? I feel like he would do a good Biden.
No, I think he came after like.
Was he himself or was he a?
He was himself. Okay. So he came after Karens.
By the way, I love Bill Burr. Like
he came after white women, stuff like that. I love Bill Burr.
Great comedian.
So I mean, some people are like, of course, he got his natural backlash, but I mean, ultimately, he still did well on stage, and it wasn't that bad, despite the fact that he was what would you call it? That type of
he was provocative.
Things that like
got the people going,
like that like white women bloggers and stuff like that would have attacked him for, and
of course
would have been happy to. This is a tragedy. I can't believe he did this on SNL. Say all that type of stuff. Like he did that type of stuff, but it was good. People laughed and it was fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it will swing back and cancel culture will become less prominent. But like for now, there are cases where it's been.
Some people said that about when going back to Dave Chappelle when he came back for his Netflix special. I watched that Netflix special a while back. I think
he specifically targeted like that group, like
I think he was
people who would cancel him.
Yeah, he talked about cancel culture, but then I think he also made LGBTQ jokes, and I think transgender jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was sitting and I was listening to what he was saying, and again, like, maybe this isn't because it's my community, so I wasn't offended or anything like too harshly, but like I looked at it and I was like, I mean, yeah, this is like pushing the line and stuff, and it wasn't offensive to me. I guess maybe I could be wrong, but the jokes that he was making weren't necessarily extremely offensive to me. But I remember at the time, because I think Joe Rogan also did a piece on this, where there was so many articles coming out like it's absolutely unacceptable for him to even touch this topic, and for him to make jokes about it is really bad, and people were like advocating for for others to boycott his Netflix special, like don't watch it, don't give him the attention or the views.
And critics rated it like very like extremely low, like it was like 1 or something, but the people
rated it really high.
It like 5 stars.
Yeah,
like perfect.
It got
the
great
highest rating.
It got great people reviews, but it got absolutely garbage critic
reviews.
Yeah, I think stand-up comedy is difficult to judge sometimes, right? Because I've seen bad stand-up comedy where there was
it's like being inflammatory for the sake of it.
Right, there was a clip circulating Twitter about this a couple weeks ago about this Australian comedian, and he basically made a joke about the Christchurch shooting, where like a bunch of Muslims that were praying and like a shooter came in and shot them. Yeah. And I watched the clip and it was just like, it wasn't funny, it was just straight up offensive.
Yeah.
Right, and it was just like, so I've seen stuff like that, and I know what I'm like when it comes to material like that, like that's wrong. Like, don't shoot like that.
But that's the thing. So about Dave Chappelle's specific comments or his jokes about that on his special, which came out a while ago, but he had specifically turned it to become a criticism like on him, pretty much. Like if you watch it, like that, what he had said was, don't remember specifically, but he ultimately ended up like him being critical of himself, and he even like said it after. It was like, I wonder if because like my own masculinity or whatever, or I feel somewhat jealous because of how the gay community is received versus how the black community is received whenever they complain, like stuff like that, right? He turned it on himself. Yeah. So that's why it's frustrating to sometimes see people get canceled when they're still making the point for the left or something like that, right? But they refuse to see that aspect and then just come forward because they're even just having the conversation. I've seen that a couple times, where some people are saying, "Oh, you shouldn't even have the conversation," and it's like, well, how do you expect to fix anything?
I don't know. The people that made the argument were just like, just talking about it is harmful, and it's just like, I don't know. I have not found a situation.
Or you shouldn't have an opinion because you are XYZ.
Right. And I think that's a little different. That could be a little different.
Yeah, it can be.
But when it comes to certain topics, where it's like you shouldn't even talk about it, because I'm struggling to think of an example, but it's like, I know I haven't found an example where I'm like, yeah, this is a topic where if you have a different opinion on it, you just shouldn't talk about it, period. There should be just one. Like,
I would say that applies if you're uneducated about it.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, even when people are uneducated about it, sometimes they're actually asking questions. Like, the legit thing will be an actual question. Which the sincerity of that, I don't know, but we'll see. But
I think when it comes to comedy, it's tough because comedy is supposed to push the line, right? Like, it's supposed to push boundaries. To me, it's supposed to make you feel. It's supposed to be a little bit edgy. It's supposed to make you feel slightly uncomfortable, but still also provide you a sense of entertainment and humor. Where even if it's something that's like targeted towards you, like if like the joke fits your demographic, right? You should be able to laugh about it, have a good time, while realizing that, okay, like this is something you would have normal, a professional conversation.
And an aspect of it brings people together, because you're joking about each other and stuff like that, right?
When you can turn heavy situations and make it lighthearted and have laughter from both sides, I feel like it just eases tensions and makes it okay to talk about that stuff a little bit more lightheartedly. And that's what comedy is supposed to be for me, and like I'd like that. But when I don't know if you should restrict comedians. Again, not them doing sexual harassment shit, but like restrict comedians on their content for what they can talk about, because like, oh, you shouldn't joke about stuff like this. I don't know to what extent you could do that, because I don't know. I don't really see any white supremacist comedians joking about like slaves, right? Like that's probably wrong, like vehemently wrong. Like, don't fucking do that. But I don't know.
look. Jordan Peterson brought this up when he was talking about like restricting free speech and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. People talk about free speech and how much it should be restricted. Personally, I don't think it should be restricted because I want to know who's racist as well, right? Like if you're like,
I want to know
blatantly racist, please tweet it. Please tweet it. Because I'd rather know who it is than have someone be silently racist.
Right.
So I don't know. I do think this does begin to inch into those territories where people are like, okay, well, you know, you just shouldn't talk about this, or don't say X, Y, Z, or blah blah blah. Because then that you just push these people to move underground, which I think is more dangerous than anything else.
Yeah, I think I've also seen I guess for political ideologies, like people, I don't know if this is cancel culture, but it's just like people are just like, they're so ingrained in their ideology that if you are on the other side, it's just like a one, disgust look, two, it's just like you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know if this relates to cancel culture, it just came into my mind.
Yeah, that's fine, that's what we do.
But it's the video that came into my mind was the one where the girl was just like, I think I hate men. That one, I don't know why that one came into my mind.
But I mean, look, when you have these echo chambers and you start trying to like restrict people's speech and stuff, you end up pushing each side further into their holes,
right?
And
we become
way more combative,
to come in the middle and make fun of both sides and just bring everyone together.
Exactly.
I need Robert Downey Jr. to do blackface.
This is the time.
This is how I get canceled.
We need Tropic Thunder 2. We need Tropic Thunder 2, full blackface.
Full blackface.
Prosthetic penis, everything. I don't care.
I need Jack Black back. I need what the fuck was that rapper's name? The one that sells booty juice, but
so what?
In the movie he sells booty juice. Like that's his. That's
in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck is his name? I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah. Side note, I don't know what this is.
We need Boondocks to come back too, okay?
We need Boondocks to come back.
We need that new season.
Yeah.
Because they tried to cancel like what they took a few episodes off of Hulu or whatever was on.
Right.
And I didn't that also.
So yeah, is that wrong? Bad. Do you have like serious issues?
Absolutely, because Boondocks is supposed to be a commentary on this stuff specifically. It is a satire. Mm-hmm. So you getting rid of this stuff makes no sense. That's why it's there. Right? Like I don't understand why you would.
What if you had shows that were homophobic and we're just making homophobic jokes the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
like satirically? Like is the homophobic joke coming from like a character that is an evil character? Because I've seen this a lot. Where my grandma's like been watching TV shows, she's like, oh, that person's like saying rude things. It's like, well yeah, they're the villain. Like they're supposed to be like what? Like, what do you mean? That's the whole point. So, I mean, I don't know. Personally, I tend to like a certain amount of realism in the sense that I don't want media to be like this entire idealized like world where it's like, look, people believe in these things.
Right.
You need to see that, to know that it exists. Or else you have people running around saying, you know, racism doesn't exist. Or, you know, everyone should be happy-go-lucky because, you know, nothing in the world is bad.
Being gay is a disease.
Yeah, there you go. So... I am worried. Well, no, I'm not worried that cancel culture will get that bad because I don't think it ever will. I think everything gets extreme, and then when it hits that extreme, people are like, oh, okay, wait, like this shouldn't be this bad,
yeah.
And then it shifts back, and then it ends up in a nice like middle. So I'm not worried about cancel culture, and I think the conservatives who keep trying to say that, oh, you can't say anything anymore, need to relax because no one's actually been like barely anyone who's just said stuff and hasn't done anything like illegal or whatever doesn't end up getting canceled. They may get their popularity may drip down a bit, but
yeah, I think fine. Weird. Like it's the most your couch is hands down the most uncomfortable couch. We'll be done soon.
Alright.
Yeah. Well, we run out of stuff to talk about.
What was the last thing I mentioned? Doja Cat? We were explaining what Doja Cat did.
Doja Cat, yeah.
Yeah, so...
She was in chat rooms.
Yeah, so she's in chat rooms with apparently, like, white supremacists and stuff, and she was, like, making, like, jokes against black people. People were saying, like, oh, you know, she hates the black side of her, blah, 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 and type stuff. Which, the videos were, yeah, kind of weird. But I feel like but we don't know if they're white supremacists. We didn't like know that type of stuff. So she denied that, but like apologized if she had hurt anybody or whatever. Again, we just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's fine now.
When you say chat rooms, is it like chat roulette, like Omegle, or
some stuff like that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the vibe that I get from hearing that is I think of 2012 Xbox Live parties and what went down there.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I mean,
it's different.
I think it borderlines in like the incel community,
right?
That type of stuff. So like with people like that, or I guess what they're claiming, right? Again, don't really know.
Yeah,
that's why the few clips you have as evidence, but anyone can cut that stuff. People have done it before, right? So I don't know.
So why did she release it?
She didn't release it. Somebody else like found it somehow.
Interesting.
On the
internet. Very, very interesting.
Right? Yeah, you can find anything, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know how. I guess somebody like screen recorded or something like that. I don't think she released it anywhere.
Okay.
Don't think she's that dumb.
Steering away from celebrities.
Yep.
Let's talk about professionals and their social media losing their jobs, because that's I feel like that's a form of cancellation, right? Like you tweet something, like say you're like a news anchor or whatever, you're a professional, and this isn't from, because there's the whole aspect of like when you're a professional, you're representing the values of your company.
Yes.
And so when you're on that professional platform, if you deviate from the values of your company, if you're saying stuff that goes against the values of your company, there should be some like consequences to that.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about like, I don't know, on your free time from your private social media accounts.
I hate black people. It's like, okay, that's fine. I just work at McDonald's. I can hate black people working at McDonald's.
Maybe not. I hate black people.
I'm gonna cut this part. Just you saying that, just to get an example of how it's supposed to work.
No, no, but like let's say news anchors on their own private media advocating for I don't know, like unpopular opinions. I'm trying to think of a good example.
I don't know. No vaccines.
No vaccines. Sure, that's yeah. Like let's say you're a news anchor that has. Let's make this scenario. You're a news anchor or someone that's on TV that has outreach and has viewership and has popularity, and on your private whatever social media you're like very pro anti-vaccination. You think vaccines make your kids mentally challenged, and then people find that out, and then like, do you deserve to get like? Is that a cancellation thing? Is that like where do we draw the line of your social media and your professional life being different?
That's tough because you're a news anchor. You have influence.
Okay.
Like people could be watching your thing every day, and then maybe they follow you on Twitter as well, and then they see you spewing this stuff, whatever.
Right.
I could say that if I'm a company that values research and putting out the proper and correct information, which I probably don't anyway, I could say, look, our news anchor was seen saying things that didn't have any substantial evidence, and we think this is a negative influence on our community and doesn't align with our image. Right? I would think that would justify that, right? Okay. Or you can at least make a statement that could justify that. Yeah. So when it comes to news anchors and people who are public figures, the line gets weird. Because remember when first before Trump was elected president, the comedian, or she was a comedian, Kathy Griffin, or something. I think
Kathy is a news anchor. Kathy Griffin.
I don't think she's a news anchor. I think she's a comedian.
Kathy Newman is a news anchor, but Kathy Griffin is. I don't know who Kathy Griffin is.
I'm pretty sure it's Kathy Griffin. I think she's a comedian.
Okay.
But she did on a TV show. But she was.
If I don't know her, that means she's ass.
She was holding a bloody Trump's head.
Oh, God.
Remember that?
Oh yes,
yes.
I do know her.
Right.
Yes.
And so she was canceled, and rightfully so, because she showed someone's face.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's you openly advocating for death is not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can draw the line on that. Like if you. Yeah.
So, public figures, I think, should be held to account differently. Not the same, because then you get into the other arguments where people are like, when the shooting that you had brought up before, they had brought up PewDiePie. PewDiePie isn't because he said anti-Semitic stuff. But like PewDiePie himself hasn't really said that stuff. He's just made those types of jokes. Yeah. But he's never advocated for anything like that. But he's never denounced, I guess, or doesn't do not to denounce it. But do you blame PewDiePie for that? Like, he's being himself on a Twitch stream. I don't think he expected someone, a mass shooter, to then quote him in something, right? So, do you blame that?
I don't know. I'm always thinking about
because there's something that's were right? If I were to get on a thing and say vaccines aren't real or whatever, that's deliberate.
Like if you or I don't know, like an avid Holocaust denier.
Yeah.
You know, like doing some fuck shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm always thinking about how much should everyone be woke. I hate using the term woke, but like how much everyone should be like aware of like social injustice and all that stuff that's going around. And like how much, like, do you think there's like a level or some threshold? Like you should know about XYZ issues at least. Forget like other stuff above it, but you should have some sort of threshold where your knowledge is there or whatever. And I always think about stuff like that. And it's, if someone doesn't meet that threshold that we are arbitrarily making, do you not crucify them, but do you get upset at them or whatever?
I immediately think about Lil Wayne when he said that he hasn't personally experienced
racism
or discrimination, right?
Right.
People got mad at him for that, and I was like, look, he went out of his way to say, I personally haven't experienced XYZ, a cop has helped me, blah, 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 right? I could blame him and say, okay, well, that means you haven't been paying attention to the internet, you haven't looked at the stats, XYZ, but, or maybe he might actually genuinely think that it is something else. Do I blame him for saying that? No, he went out of his way, in my personal experience.
Right.
I think that exempts him. As much as people might get mad at that, I can't expect everybody to know everything. People have different backgrounds, people have different lives. Like, I can't blame them for that.
You have like how many people? 8 billion, 9 billion people in the world, right? Like you're not gonna have a uniform experience. Like not all black people have a uniform experience when it comes to like, let's say, police. There's a majority experience, right? Like there's like a large section of black people have a similar experience with police, but not every single black person has had the same experience with police. And that's why you have like some famous athletes or like some like rich black folk that are like, I've never had any problem with the police.
OJ Simpson said, I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Listen, man.
Legendary.
OJ.
He quickly learned that he was.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe he's just kind of invisible. He did get off. And whatever, that's a whole other conversation.
Can I call OJ a gangster in a nice way without me supporting his action?
No. I don't think you can. I think it's just... Bro, he been wild. Remember when he was wilding out on Twitter?
He wilding out. He been wilding out.
Because like he got to quit his... the same as that he didn't do it, right? Or he didn't... Or that he didn't know because he didn't. Someone invaded his house or whatever, so he didn't know who it was that he was stabbing.
When it comes to when it comes to the OJ case, he didn't get in. He got charged for like the murder of his wife and the person, but there was issues because on the crime scene, the police tampered with some of the evidence because they touched stuff, and then on top of that, there was a glove that had blood on it. And they were like, "This is the glove that the killer wore to kill his wife and her best friend." And then when they tried to put the glove on OJ's hand, the glove was too small, and that was one of the biggest things where it's just like, okay, it couldn't have been OJ.
The glove literally didn't fit.
Yeah, the glove didn't fit. That's why that thing is there.
Okay.
But OJ did go to jail because I think his wife, the one that died, or someone had his personal belongings of his, so he broke into their house and tried to take that stuff back.
Oh yeah, that was something
else. Like that. I don't know if I'm getting all the facts right.
So what he for was something else. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a whole other fucking conversation.
Why are we talking about OJ? I forget.
Yeah, my bad. I don't remember how he got there.
I tried to call him a gangster, but I realized that is really bad.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. We'll cut that out for you. Don't worry. I want to keep you working for. If you're rich, I'm rich. So
let's keep my professional career alive for the time being.
For the time.
We'll
decide when we're ready to cancel you. Okay. I'll cut all the clips I need to if you say the word stuff like that. Whatever.
I have a blackmail on me. You made a joke about this when you were 21.
If you don't buy me McDonald's tonight, I will send this out to everybody.
Okay, let's go back to the scenario that we were making about the news anchor.
Yeah.
Take away the fact that they have public presence. Let's just say it's some dude working at some office, right? And he's making. I don't know, let's take the Black Lives Matter movement. He's going out and making claims about like, oh, police brutality is not that serious. It's not, police are not targeting just black people. It's the people on both sides. And like that's what he's tweeting on his personal account, on his personal time and his private and whatever. But like shit gets leaked.
If you're a marketer for I don't know, some mattress company,
take that out.
I don't care.
You're some IT guy at a company that works on like the IT stuff inside.
No, I mean like if you don't okay, you could have if you just don't think police whatever is a thing. That you not believing that doesn't affect your job or anyone that you influence negatively.
Right.
Like you don't have the power to do anything that could sway the argument in any way, shape, or form, right? So I don't care.
So public perception matters. Like if you have an audience, it makes a difference.
Your effect matters, because again, we can't get into a place where we start policing people's thoughts, right? Because that could go bad really quickly. So in certain circumstances, don't care. If you're a white supremacist, you should probably not work in anything that has to do with like social work, even marketing, like anything that would influence people. You probably shouldn't.
But like saying that, we're kind of like excusing it, like, oh, if you're white supremacist, like, it's okay to do that.
No, because we've also kind of decided a little bit on a free speech type thing, where I always think there are some rules that we have to accept have aspects that are bad, but that's for a reason. Like, you know, the whole like means justify the ends type thing.
Right.
In cases like this, we can't pick out, if we're trying to like follow a certain ideology, we can't pick out the one time that it doesn't work in our favor and then try to then like change how we approach things. Because for like right now, canceling somebody for disagreeing with you might make sense sometimes, right? But if you make that a regular thing, then you get to the point where sometimes it really isn't justified, but you've already set that precedent.
Right.
I don't think you should be able to do that, right? So there's certain things where, as much as I would want to get rid of each and every one, I can't set the standard of starting to do that because one day it could go against me. And not even just that, it's just morally not right? Yeah. Like, murder is murder no matter what. No matter if you're getting someone off the street. That's why we believe in like due process and stuff like that. Because you might give the death penalty to someone who didn't deserve it. And then we kind of take that as, okay, well, there's always that possibility. So let's just not make that the way we deal with things. Because we think that the times that it doesn't work will outweighs the times that it does. Because it's not necessary that we kill every single person, right?
Could be a solution, though. I mean, I'm just saying, if I had a Shiragami with me... Like,
the little death note.
Possibilities are fucking endless.
Look, they gave me, like, if they let me be the dictator of the world, I would definitely have different morals than I'm displaying today. I promise you.
Yeah, I'd be an absolute tyrant. I would not give a fuck.
But if we have to choose dictator, don't like exempt me from that.
I'm just saying, I'm not taking my name out of the race.
I'm for just dictator, saying, just
yeah. If a hypothetical dictator race was to start,
start deleting your tweets today. Yeah. I will
put my name in that little goblet of fire. Will volunteer myself as a potential candidate to be dictator of the combined world.
If you put your toilet paper where the thing is coming out like on the side of the wall, I'm coming for you. If you pour your milk first, I'm coming for you.
If you use toilet paper, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
Shit. Clean your assholes, people. Properly. Use water.
Why does this affect you?
Because people dirty, bro.
Okay.
Walking around with crusty assholes. It's gross.
It affects you because you.
Because it makes me
feel. I'm just trying to figure out why this concerns you so much.
Listen, I'm just advocating for a higher hygiene standard for between all people. Okay. People already don't shower. All right. Prepubescent high school boys already use Axe instead of actual showers. So I think we should abolish toilet paper.
Maybe I can kind of agree because there's studies have found they found fecal matter on every single McDonald's touchscreen there is.
Yeah. I think when I found that out, that was the day I stopped using kiosks completely. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, I already don't eat McDonald's, but
I have the video of you using the kiosk, so we're gonna cut that in there because that was fun.
Wait, what video of me?
We're at McDonald's.
Am I doing some dumb shit?
Yeah, you're doing some dumb shit.
What was I doing?
You were really excited for your chicken sandwich or something like that, or your fries or something like that, or no, your iced coffee. That's what it was. You're super excited, so you were like, they'll see it. I'll show you.
But that's because iced coffee has
caffeine,
crack in it. So
you guys are addicts, bro.
It's not an addiction.
Yeah.
It's not an addiction, okay? It is a healthy obsession. Okay? I do not
healthy.
I do not. It makes me feel alive.
So does cocaine.
Okay, I don't drink iced coffee or regular coffee because I have to.
So does drinking.
So
does methamphetamine. Like,
do I have to drink iced coffee? No. Do I Do I need to drink iced coffee? No. Do I have an urging desire to drink iced coffee? No.
Yes, you do. You clearly do. Because every time we go, you do. What are you talking about?
Do I want to drink iced coffee? Yes. Okay. And I think that makes it different. Okay. I am not an addict. I have a healthy obsession with caffeinated beverages.
If someone is better at editing than me, I want you to take every time that he says iced coffee in that sentence and replace it with any other drug. Any. Adderall.
You know, cancel culture hits close to home with me because I make jokes about doing drugs on my Twitter and...
Oh yes, tell that story.
Should we tell that story? I don't know if I want to tell that story.
Why? You've already been screened, you're fine. We've established that you're fine.
Anywho, okay, so... I think I might even cut this out, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, don't say what you said.
No, I'm going to say what I said because it wasn't bad.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Or say there's one point where you retweeted something, so you didn't actually say it. So you can say that part.
No, I'll say the stuff that I actually said.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do a little story time. I might just cut this out, but we'll see. Who knows?
Save so like your spam account or something like that.
Yeah. So you know me on Twitter. I use my Twitter as a healthy diary of BS. It is completely all jokes and bullshit. And Twitter humor is different than real life humor. Mm-hmm. Yes, I will. Yeah. So, man. Okay, so I was applying for summer internships and jobs during school. This was 2 years ago, and so I got a job. I got a really nice job and everything. I did the interview, killed the interview. The entire team loved me. Everything. I got my conditional offer, and whatnot. And they were like, "Oh, do you give us permission to go through your social media? We just want to do a background check and a criminal records check." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, fuck it." Right? Like I don't have racist shit on my Twitter. I don't have like anything that I'm ashamed of. Right? Like it's some goofy stuff, it's some dumb stuff, but like whatever. I don't go for it. Fucking feel free, digest, and go deep dive into my shit. And so a couple months go by, and then I get a call while I'm walking on campus. And it's from this HR lady. And first of all, I missed the call the first 4 times they called. I had 3 voicemails. And if you know me, I don't check my voicemails. So I just had like 3 concerning voicemails about my job application that I didn't know about. But one day she called me and she caught me at the right day. And so I'm walking downtown Toronto. And it's this, I don't want to say it's this old lady, but it's a middle-aged woman, white woman. I can tell by her voice. And she goes, "Hey, is this... like, Saham, I wanted to talk to you about your job application for the company or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And she's like, "Oh, well, you gave us permission to go through your social media to just give it a double look." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And she's like, "Well, have you ever tweeted anything that was racist or homophobic or anything?" And I was like, "No, that don't sound like me. Like, that's not me."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, okay, cool. So you don't have anything problematic on your social media?" And I was like, "No, I don't. Like, is there any problem?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, funny you say that because we found a tweet that might be somewhat concerning and alarming." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, like, what did they find?" And so backstory about me is I've never done shit, right? Like, I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I've never gone high. I don't drink. Like,
allegedly.
What?
Allegedly. No, okay, he does. I can confirm this.
Right? Like, I am 20, I'm almost 22.
I
so
confirm
22 years.
He's not an imposter.
I'm not cool. Right? Like, I don't do shit. So I'm sober, clean, 22 years. I've never done fuck shit, never gotten in trouble or anything like that. But a year before I applied to this job, I made a joke. So there was a God, I can't even pronounce the word. Trend. Wow. Yeah. There was a trend going on Twitter about like making jokes about hard drugs. And so I made a joke about doing hard drugs. And I remember vividly because I thought it was so funny. I made a tweet. Again, mind you, I've never gotten high, never done anything.
Yes.
I made a tweet, being the senile idiot that I am, where I tweeted, "I'm getting tired of doing weed. I want to try something more meaningful and exciting, like crack." and that was my tweet. My tweet was about wanting to do crack cocaine. And so mind you, so I'm walking and I'm in my mind, I'm like, fuck, I'm about to lose my job. What the fuck did I do to put myself in this position? And it is a humbling experience to have a middle-aged woman in monotone read your tweets back to you. It is a very humbling experience. Because I asked her, I was like, "Hey, can you please identify what tweet you're concerned about. Just read it out to me. And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, just read it out to me. And she read that tweet out in the most blank face possible. Like I've imagined her face where it's just like, I do not want to do hardcore drugs. I want to do something more meaningful, like crack. And man, this was one of the most difficult experiences in my life, because the moment she said that, I wanted to laugh. I wanted to laugh so damn hard, okay? Because a year later, that joke to me, the child that I am, was still funny.
It is. It
was still funny. And so, mind you, I'm walking on the streets of Toronto, like I'm stressed, my heart is pounding, and then out of nowhere, I want to fucking bust out laughing. And then I had to stop myself, and I'm like, no, ma'am, no, please. Like that was a joke. I don't do drugs. And it was one of the most embarrassing experiences.
I muscle, please. I swear to you.
I am a child of God. It was one of the most embarrassing experiences of my life, where I had to explain to someone that I don't do drugs, okay? And that my tweet it wasn't even taken out of context. There was no context. It was just, I was making a joke. It was a lie. And
I lied. I was lying through my teeth.
I was trying to seem cool. I don't do drugs. And it was, man, fuck. It was so scary. It was so. I called you right after. I was like, bro, I'm about to lose my job.
Bro, I was dying.
I was like, yo.
Yeah, you'll be fine. But it
was like, I'm about funny. I'm about to lose my fucking job. And you know what the worst part is? I didn't call it just you. I called like 3 other people.
Yeah.
And every single one of them laughed. All 3 of you guys laughed at me. Yeah. And I was the only one. I'm like, bro, I might cry. Regularly.
Because it's funny. There's like, as tragic as it was, it does not beat how funny it was.
It was fucking. And the worst part is, after she like read that tweet and whatever, and I spent 20 minutes on the phone with her, explaining to her, like, it is a joke. Please, ma'am, I am not a psychopath. I don't do hard drugs. And then at the end, like, I guess I made my case pretty well, but even at the end, she didn't say, it's okay, you'll get your offer. She went, oh, okay, thanks for explaining everything to me. We'll reevaluate, and if we still want to pursue you, we'll let you know. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, did I lose my job or not?
Bro, after you told me this story, I immediately went to my Twitter and like just searched up a bunch of keywords. Ass. Cocaine. Meth. Like, I just searched all of it just to make sure I didn't have any tweets like that.
And then, like, I think an hour or 2 later, I got my full job offer, and they're just like, please sign and give it to us by the end of the day. But like, fuck, that was a humbling experience, to say the least.
And you haven't stopped the fuckery. Which means you've learned nothing from this experience.
No,
you keep drugs on your tweets.
I sobered up.
You'll put the stars out.
Yeah, no, if I tweet something, I'm going to put a star in it.
Don't say you sobered. You sobered up on the tweets. You didn't sober up because you never had to sober up. You've always been sober. I have to protect you now.
Right. And it's funny because we have friends that are like,
wow,
they're not drug addicts, but they've done hardcore drugs and whatnot. And like, I have close friends that are like, not substance abusers, but substance users. And so, like, for me, it's like so ironic because I spent all of high school telling them no, and they spent all of high school trying to convince me, man, bro, just please, one time, yeah. Gummy, please, brownie, one time, let me get you high one time. I got a mushroom with me, one time, please, let me take you on a journey. Okay? Yeah. It'll be a magical journey.
Pop your sober cherry.
So for so long, and this fucking lady in this HR thing thinks I do crack, and I have to defend myself
You almost got in trouble for
imaginarily doing crack.
Yeah. For fake. You don't even get to experience the pleasure of actually doing it, but you're gonna get all the consequences.
For fake doing crack, I had to face the consequences. So that's the story where I almost got canceled, and I feel like that's not gonna be the last.
Don't play anymore.
I'm joking. That's gonna absolutely be the last.
But I mean, it's just funny to me because I watch these people do it, and like. You're watching. You can see the generation gap because you're watching someone who's supposed to be screening all these like people for their jobs and stuff, but
right.
have no idea the context of like the internet
Yeah.
and how people joke around. And that's
Imagine you're working for HR and you have to screen someone's social media and it's just I want to die, I want to die, I want to die, and you're like, fuck, should I call the police? But the whole time they're laughing all the time.
yeah. I know. Was it you? Somebody said like they tweeted something like that, and like they've had like their employer like call them and be like, "Hi, like we just have to take you into like for extra screening to make sure that you're okay. Like, do you have these thoughts? How often do you have these thoughts?" Like, no, like I was joking. I mean, I was serious, but I was joking.
I mean, yo, it's not that serious. Like, I mean, I was serious, but like not that serious, please.
Like I'm fine, but like I am not. But like, don't worry.
It's just like I joke about like I want to just end it right here, and someone's gonna hear me.
Someone tackles you. Someone end it right here and tackles them. Like, restrain.
I feel for we're getting off topic, but I feel for people that like I'm seeing people that we know and they tweet stuff where I'm just like, yeah, if an employer saw this, you're not getting a job. You're not even getting like the complimentary call that I got. This is
yeah. Ooh. Straight X.
Sorry to let you know. We thought you were a great candidate for the job.
Until we saw your tweets.
Until we saw your tweets. Better luck next time.
You gotta be careful, especially like during times when things get heated, when people are joking around about like Donald Trump and stuff like that. Like, don't say anything like, well, like like I'm gonna excommunicate whoever. Like,
right.
Just be safe
on
the internet. Practice
so I made
be cool.
I took the responsibility onto myself where I tell all my friends that are applying for jobs, please private your shit, change your username, make your display picture black. If you have
private's no fun.
if you are worried about your social media, like say you've said some racist shit 5-10 years ago, fucking make your shit private, go delete that stuff. Obviously you were 14, 13 at the time, I don't care.
So my Twitter handle is Adrian Carter. Can I even change that part of it? Yeah, I don't even think I can. So
you can. That's why my ad is not my name.
You can change it now.
You've always been able to change it.
Change the ad?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I'm safe. Yeah. Black screen. Okay. I can tweet to my heart's content. You mean I can tweet to my heart's content?
I don't know about tweeting to your heart's content. I'm very scared of. After that experience, I was very scared of Twitter for like 3 days.
Yeah, for all of 3 days, and then you're right back to it.
I don't think I have tweeted wild shit since then.
Just search the keywords.
What keywords, man?
Any swear word. I don't know, like anything, any keywords. Right? That's where you'll find your.
Oh, I wanna. So one other thing I wanted to ask you was, you remember when did Kevin Hart host the Oscars?
That's a good point.
Yeah. That's something
He was supposed to host the Oscars.
He didn't?
I don't think he didn't end up doing it because of so one of his first specials ever.
Yeah.
He talked about stopping his son from like being trying gay? To make sure he's not going to be gay by like seeing if they, because every kid has one gay interaction. So he talked about like, knocking his son over or whatever when he was like about to do something gay or something, like kid was growing up or whatever. Like when he was a kid.
Right.
So that was seen as homophobic and I was like, wait a second.
I don't think I have.
I'm sure it's been one. I'm sure. So yeah, he got stopped from hosting the Oscars, but I thought about it and I was like, okay, this was at that point was like 8 years ago.
10 years ago.
I think at the time it was 8 or something.
Okay.
And it just didn't make sense because I was like, okay, if you have to. For me, that's how I see it. If you have to go back 8 years to find something that's problematic, it's probably because the person has changed their habits. Therefore, does not make sense to cancel him for that.
Right.
Trudeau's blackface thing was eons ago. And if it hasn't happened since, it's probably because his politics are different. So why would you cancel someone for something that was so long ago? People just want to be mad. People have too much time on their hands. Look, like, people... I think things that were acceptable back then aren't acceptable now, and
the one thing I think the one thing you want to clarify from that statement is we're not saying like, oh, if it happened 10 years ago, like it's just forget about it completely. If you need something that requires
you have to go back there, it's because they've probably changed their behavior since then,
right? But
don't believe in the same thing.
That shouldn't, like, if you did something 10 years ago that where you haven't faced the consequences or that required consequences. Like if you committed a crime 10 years ago.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it came back now. We're not saying to disregard that because it happened so long ago.
But they didn't ask him to comment on it or whatever. He lost his... Well, I mean, again, look, I'm not going to feel that sympathetic for Kevin Hart.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I'm not going to
Kevin Hart is a rich guy.
Yeah, so I'm not going to feel that sympathetic for him, right? Because he's, he's going to be fine.
Right.
It's just that, like, he immediately lost it, right? Where it's like...
Did he host? I thought he did host it. I don't know.
No, I don't think he ended up hosting it. It just, to me, it just didn't make sense. I was like, okay, well, like, yeah, he can make the comments and apologize for it, and that should be it, because it happened so long ago.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't...
I think for me, the context of the era in which something was said matters.
Absolutely.
Right? It's again, I want to preface that I'm not excusing any sort of, like, if you made some really, like, bad, like if you did an illegal act, or if you said something really, like, if you had some real racist shit, like, I'm not saying, like, if you were, like, say if they found out that you were part of the KKK 10 years ago, like, we're not, like, sweeping that under the rug.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is the context of the era matters, and if you made, like, let's take Kevin Hart in comedy as an example of that. Like, yeah, he made a joke about his son being gay, and the era in that time, I want to say something without, like, seeming like I'm defending.
But the era of the time was more acceptable.
Yeah, it was more common to see comedians make jokes of that nature,
and especially, let's be honest, especially for a black comedian to a black crowd.
Yeah, and he wasn't. It's not like he was a kid. He was, I don't know, early 20s or whatever. But it was at the beginning of his. It was the beginning of his career, and I remember at that time, the way, and a lot of people, like, did this was you were making, not inflammatory, but provocative comments and stuff. Edgy, yeah. You were trying to be as edgy as possible, and stuff like that was seen as edgy, and you were trying to, like, that's how you would gain viewership and stuff like that. But to me, I think a simple apology would have been enough. Yeah. Like, if people, I'm not saying people shouldn't have been upset. Like, you can, if you were part of the LGBTQ community and you saw that, if you got upset, like, yeah, you got upset. That shit affects you personally and undermines your entire, like, all the struggles that you face. So it's acceptable for you to feel mad or upset at him for making that joke 10 years ago. But I think a simple apology, like, you demanding an apology from him and you demanding, like, him to educate himself, or even observing his behavior from that point on, because I don't think he really made gay jokes like that, attacking homosexuality from that point. Yeah. At least to my knowledge, I could be wrong. But he hasn't. So I think because of all those factors combined, like, just a simple apology would have been fine without him having lost his opportunity to host the Oscars. Yeah. But that's just me.
Right. And then if we contrast with the other situation for Trudeau apologized. Yeah. Before that, Trudeau has experience that he tries his best to, like, display other cultures and stuff like that, right? He tells that for Canada. I mean, we could talk about what he does.
To the extent that he does, because he's a goof on his own. Like, he
tries too hard. He tries way too hard.
But I take that over, like, not, right? So I think he's shown that he's not
racist.
Yeah, I think he's not racist. So for that, it was kind of like,
when that happened, I think it was like, when that happened, I didn't find a single brown person that was really upset. Yeah. Maybe it's because, I don't know if I didn't look hard enough, but, like, that's another thing. I asked a couple of brown people, and people asked me, they're like, "Are you pissed?" I had a couple of friends reach out to me. They're like, "Are you upset? Are you angry?" And I was like, "Not really." Yeah. Fuck.
But I've had that happen a lot too, where a lot of times you'll see, for certain things that don't make sense with cancel culture, you'll see a lot of white people, like, let's say something happens that's, like, can be considered anti-black or whatever, right? Right. White people will be angry, and then black people will be like, wait, no, this isn't what, like, we understand why you did X, Y, Z, or, like, what the joke was, or whatever the heck. Like, none of us are mad. It's just, like, other groups that are trying to be mad for us, and it's like, well, no, we get it's funny. We all find it funny. Yeah. So, what are you doing?
And again, I'm not making an excuse for his brown face, right? Yeah. But it's just, I don't know.
How long ago it was, or, like, you think you've seen him do enough that proves that he's not that way now.
Yeah. For me, one of the biggest things is I pay attention to the person's actions over a period of time, right? Because I'm the type of person that likes to be able to give someone the benefit of the doubt and just be like, okay, they were ignorant with that. Like, and that's not an excuse for it, but it makes me understand, or it allows me to see them as like not some evil entity, or like they're not some sort of like anti-brown, anti-black person, right? For me, like, yeah, it was a bad move, it was wrong, it was fucked up. He should have never done it in the first place. But his actions from that point, again, seeing him go into Parliament, being like trying to be as inclusive as possible, having what the fuck do you call it? Cabinet where it was equal amount of men, equal amount of women, and it was diversity within it. He's trying to be inclusive. He's trying to do all this stuff to like show diversity and show appreciation for other cultures. Sometimes even doing too much. Seeing all of that,
yeah.
And then I see what he did in the past. I was like, okay, like that was. I can sympathize a little bit with that. Where I'm just like, okay, you fucked up in the back over there. I'm not too upset at it at this point. And maybe I'm wrong for that, but that's just how I viewed it. I was like, I don't think you're a racist.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree.
But I did see I saw white people that were upset.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You have people. There are people on Twitter who are virtue seeking, and I've seen this a lot too, where people.
I saw it on both Instagram and Twitter.
Take something, you'll see this long ass educated, somewhat or seems educated paragraph on why this person's wrong, why they should be canceled, and you look at the situation, you're like, well, like those are a lot of big words, but you're not really saying much. And it's like, look, I understand you live off the internet and you're looking for this stuff, but what you saw really wasn't that bad. So what are you doing? So I don't know. That's a whole other aspect of that's like it's completely something else. You have these,
but it would be different if something like if Andrew Scheer had something like that.
Oh yes,
yeah,
yes.
Are we being biased at this point because we're not conservative supporters?
So I would expect Scheer's apology to have the right. What you would need the right words. In the sense that we would be less harsh on Trudeau because we know of his politics now.
Okay.
We would be harder on Scheer because he's never shown, or from what we've seen, he's never shown to be sympathetic, like going the other way.
Right.
When we haven't seen him prove otherwise. Right. So we'd have to. So when his apology came up, I'd want to see when that was. That highlighted everything. That was like, oh, hey, this is wrong because XYZ, XYZ. This is what I was doing at the time. I now know through my experience of or blah, 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 why it's wrong now. This is why it's wrong. I apologize. It's never happened since, and it's not going to happen again. And I'm like, okay, right? But what annoyed me was Scheer getting up and being like, look at Trudeau doing XYZ. I was like, okay, Scheer, please tell me exactly what Trudeau did wrong. Because I'm sure you can't name it. You just know that everyone else is angry. He just looked around and was like, oh, we're mad? Okay, cool, awesome.
Wait, that's not right? Okay, alright, cool. That's not right. You can't do that? Alright, bet.
Shit. Shit hides his makeup. He deletes all his old pictures.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Let's say this came out during his first election campaign, before he became prime minister in 2015. Would it have been different?
A lot of people wouldn't have known him. Wouldn't have known him then. Right?
What do you mean?
So we know Trudeau in the 4 years, so we've seen pictures of him do XYZ, doing the most.
No, right? but being the running candidate for the Liberal Party,
so I'm saying, by then, people would not have seen him display the other things, display
his excessiveness.
His like oversensitivity, whatever. Right? We haven't seen that, so we would need him. It might have affected him a lot more because people were like, "Oh shit, he's racist." Like, nobody knows it, right? So it would have hit harder, definitely. Unless he had a hell of an apology, right? So,
I mean, with that hair, he couldn't have a hell of an apology.
So, yeah, it would have hit him harder if it hit him in the first campaign. So, whoever withheld it, good on you. Yeah, what did they fucking find that shit? Probably like one of his friends or something like that. Maybe someone did like one of his policies. Was like, I'm releasing it now.
Maybe, yeah.
Hacked his laptop. I don't know.
Somebody got taxed, and they were like, oh, all right, fuck you.
My tax went up by 2%.
Taxes are wild, bro. 2% is a lot of money.
I'm
asking you one more time. Tax the 1%. Not doing impressions.
Tackle the economy and capitalism.
Why can't we just print more money? Why can we as a society, as a government, as a first world nation, come to the consensus?
We're just gonna print more.
All we need are a couple of printers. Best Buy has a couple of good ones. Green ink, okay, decent quality paper. I'm pretty sure the plastic paper. Call up a paper company. And just
only the rich have printers. So already you're creating a wealth gap. Can you imagine the line at the public library to print 50 and shit?
Hey, before we finish up, I just want to say, when I was a kid, having a printer was a sign that you made it. Okay? Alright? Like, having a printer was a sign that you are living good. You eating good. If you have a printer, if you can print your schoolwork at night without having the stress of your parents going to work to print it or you go to the library to print it, you are living a good life. You have privilege. So if you have a printer, you have privilege. That was my ideology as an 8-year-old.
Came to school and everyone was like, oh, I have to print it. And someone was like, oh, I printed it at home. And I was like, it's like, you did what?
Yeah, no, if you have a printer at home, you're bougie.
Yeah. Juju. I can see that. I agree.
You rich. You live in life.
You rich. Alright. Well, I think that concludes today's thing.
Let's wrap it up before I start, like, exposing myself more. Losing brain cells and whatnot.
Alright. Well, yes, we'll leave it there. I think we're going to try to do this a little bit, like at least once a week. And then we're going to go towards like a round table type thing, but where we'd have like a kind of a weekly roundup of the week stuff that's happened, and we want to make that a live thing on a Zoom call, and then we can bring people in and you guys can get involved that way. We'll have more information on that, I guess, whenever.
Yeah, this one I think was a little bit more serious.
Yeah, there's more directed and just between us two, right?
Yeah.
So,
alright. Remember, we're signing off.
Now we don't have to sign off yet, so that's how we're going to sign off right now.